On the ride along today, Flex. How you doing, Flex?
I'm here. How are you doing today, Junior?
I'm good. Flex, let me tell you. First of all, welcome to the program, and thanks for accepting our invitation to come on and chat with us. So give us some more information about you. Tell your story as to educate and inform people about the different lifestyle. Some might consider it different because they have not yet gotten information about it. But hopefully today, with what the information that you would share, we'll be more informed about what is a trans man. All right, so welcome. And I want you to also take time to big up our viewers that's watching from all over the world right now, Flex.
Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about myself real quickly. I'm an advocate for the LGBT community, transgender community as well. I am a promoter for entertainment. I'm an entertainer. I'm also a motivational speaker, an author, and a million other things. I'm also a vlogger myself, and I am a public speaker. I am identified as male by way of transgender experience. That means I was genetically born female and transformed my body to be the man that I am today. And that was a choice I had to do for myself, no one else. There's many of us on this earth that live uncomfortable like myself, living the genetic body that we were born in, because the soul for me, I believe the internal soul is what's inside the body. And I was born, as I tell anyone, I was born genetically female with the soul of a man. So in order for that soul to match the body, I've had to transform myself by way of medical assistance.
Right. Okay, so let's start from that point. So you said a lot there. One of the things that I want to touch on first is you said that you were genetically born a female. At what point in your life did you started to feel like this is not you? What you have in your mind and what you see when you look at yourself is two totally completely different things. At what age did you see that?
Actually, it was about the age of 4 to 5 years old. I began to know something was different, didn't know what it was as a child, wasn't sure of what it was, and as I matured as an adolescent, I thought it was a sexual thing. So I began to explore sexually. So I was never a lesbian, which the idea of people that transition, or transgendered individuals come from being the gay community. Not all of us are from the gay community. Many are from the heterosexual straight world community, identified as gendered individuals as well. So for me, I was married 3 times, and I found myself within those marriages to be transgendered. Yes, I interacted with women, but I was a heterosexual female, genetic female, that found that I was not the person I need. I was not physically that person. I need to be the person I need to be for me.
Right. How do you answer the question when people say, like one of or someone in the chat room, they is saying, did God make a mistake when he gave you, when he made you? How do you answer that question?
I believe there's no mistake in how my body is created. I believe that we are all created for a reason, to have life experiences, and my life experience allowed me to be the person I need to be now.
Right. So as a little girl, you were born 2 years, 3 years at that point in time. Were you doing the regular female thing, playing with dolls and all that other stuff?
No, I did not. I didn't like wearing dresses. I felt uncomfortable in dresses. I used to play with Barbie and play with my cousin's G.I. Joe and put him in the Barbie chair, the Barbie car, and fix the Barbie car. It was different for me. I didn't feel like the little girl. I didn't like frilly things. It was not for me. But, I will say this to the listeners and the people that are watching this. It took time for me to reveal to me that something was different. But as a child, I was attracted more to masculine toys and masculine colors. I love the color blue. It just was not for me to be feminine at all.
Right. And how was your parents? How did they take when you was you know, not acting the part. You know, as a little girl, you wasn't doing the, like, typically, I think somebody just called Flex on the line. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was saying, how did your parents reacted to see that there was such a change as a little girl doing all the stuff that little boys would be doing?
It was hard for my mother to take to accept it because she bore a genetic female. So in her mind, she wanted that darling little girl. But for the rest of my family, many of my family that I have, because I was raised in New York, New Jersey, were more accepting of me as a person.
Right.
And were willing to love me for who I am as a person.
Right. So let's fast forward a little bit. So you have 4 or 5. When did you start it? Oh, so did you ever look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, this breast and all of this stuff, you know, that's not what I'm seeing in my head. Like, at what age did you physically look at yourself and say, nah, this is not what
I already knew, Junior, that I did not have a girl's body. I didn't have anything. I felt boy from the age of 4, and then when I began to really be aware of it, I was aware of it at the age of 16.
But you felt boy in a girl body, but were you sexually attracted or seeing boys and feeling like that sexual attraction to them at any point?
Well, because I grew up in the late 70s, I grew up between the 60s and the 80s. It was different for me than it is the children, the trans people of today, of 2018. I didn't know what it was, what I was feeling. I wasn't aware of it. There was no word placed to it. The only thing I knew that I enjoyed being what they called back then a transvestite, a cross-dresser. So I enjoyed dressing up as a boy. It gave me comfort. I enjoyed putting on beard and mustache. It gave me comfort. So I was very comfortable being male, in the image of a male, than I was as a female. I accepted who I was and how I was born, because that's just what happens when you have the body you have. I rolled with the punches.
Yeah. So what about puberty? So you went through 4, you went through 5. Not even before we get to puberty, let's talk about school. Let's talk about junior high school, elementary, junior high school, and high school. How was those days?
I have to say this because I've asked people in my past, did they see me as a boy or girl? And they said they only saw me for who I was. They said I was the coolest kid in school. They didn't look at that. And in my time, my high school years was right around the end of Vietnam and hippie years. So nobody really looked at gender or sexuality during those times. That was the free love season. You know, that was when it was a free love. So nobody really looked at that. They just looked at me as a cool kid in school. I mean, I was kind of cool. I will admit that.
Yeah.
But I was just a cool kid. And, you know, if I dressed one way, I dressed one way. But you got to remember that during the late 70s and 80s, girls were wearing boys' clothes and some boys were wearing girls' clothes, but it was not a big issue in my time.
So let me ask you that $1 million question. If you were in the hallway of your school and a boy came up to you and said, hey, what was your name? What's your born name?
My name is Flex.
Yeah, but the Flex all through high school, that's the name that you carry?
Flex is one of my nicknames that I've carried in high school. Okay. Yes.
So if a boy came up to you at that age and said, "Hey, Flex, I like you," did you feel uncomfortable that someone of the opposite sex was coming on to you, or did that ever happen?
No, because like I said, I'm attracted to, like I've told people more than once, I'm attracted to feminine and masculine energy. So I was never offended. If he liked me, he liked me. If we got along and our vibes were right, we got along, we dated. I never was a lesbian. So for me to date a man was not a problem. And for me to date a woman was not a problem. I'm what they call pansexual. I date all genders, and I don't see I don't see sexual gender. I don't see gender, and I don't see sexual genitalia.
Oh.
I see the soul of a person.
Oh, I see. During puberty now, did that make you confused? Like, or how was puberty, that puberty age for you?
I didn't have a problem. I'm just one person that didn't have a problem. I grew into myself, and people accepted me for how I grew. I didn't have any form of discrimination until I moved to the South, and life was a lot different for me then.
How was it?
Well, I moved to the South 25 years ago. That was in the 90s, and that was about the time that people did not understand in the South what transgender was. They didn't even know who I was, because when I walked into North Carolina, the state of North Carolina, people just knew I was a Northerner and I was different and I was not going to do anything their way in the South. So I was a lot different. I lived my life being me, and no one ever said yay or nay. But you have to understand, I was raised in the entertainment industry at a young age, so being an entertainer, being around entertainment, just being myself, people accepted me as that was probably part of my art. My friends were artists. My friends were actresses. So I didn't have any of that problem until I moved to the state of North Carolina. And I really don't have that problem here now.
Do people, like someone in the chat right now, they're saying that stuff like that, living life like that, is an abomination. The Bible never ordained stuff like that. What's your reaction? How do you respond when people come at you with those messages?
I don't speak about, and I'm going to say this, I don't speak about politics, and I don't speak about religion. We all have our beliefs. We all have our beliefs. We all have our feelings about things. And being who I am, I am not a Christian, I will say that. I am a practicing Buddhist that is Catholic. So we can debate all day, but how you feel is your feeling. So I'm not going to knock down how you're feeling about something, but understand that I am present, I am here, and I'm living.
Right. Now, when those, before we go on to that, let me just give a programming note here, guys. We're speaking with Flex, an entertainer, a promoter, and born female, identify as a trans man, living his life as a male. What was it like when the breasts started to come out and all of this female stuff started to come on, period, and all this other stuff?
I actually didn't have that problem until I ended up pregnant and miscarried, and that's when my estrogen level kicked in. I was very small up until the age of 32. I was a size 0 in women's pants. I was wearing size 25 pants and boys' pants till I reached 32. So I didn't have the problem of big breasts. I didn't have big breasts then.
Right. So you became pregnant. Were you as masculine as you are now at that time, or you was a lot more feminine?
No. No. Like I'll tell anyone, I accepted the body for what I had. I was sexy then, and I kept it sexy, and I'm sexy now, and I'm keeping the sexy too. So as I evolved, I just kept sexy going.
Yeah, bringing it back in all kind of ways. So I saw on somewhere on your Facebook page where you had, did you have a surgery of some sort?
Yes, I had what they call a double mastectomy. It's called top surgery that the trans men have. It's the removal of the breast tissue, and that's what I've had. I've had to live with my breasts for 20 years without swimming legally in any public venue. It's very uncomfortable to have breasts and have facial hair, and people ostracize you or look at you and pick at you, and to go publicly, to go swimming. You don't see men with a 44 XXX bra breast and facial hair. And I have been ostracized by society in public. So I didn't swim for 20 something years, and I finally had my top surgery. Now you can't get me out the swimming pool.
Yeah. I guess you live as a woman, so you understand that, and now you're living as a man, so you completely understand that. What's the difference? Some people will say, yo, I would just like to be a woman for a day, or I like to be a man for a day. Some women will be like, I want to be a man for a day. I want to experience all that stuff that men experience. Which
Well,
go ahead.
I will say this: to be a man of color is not a very enjoyable life.
Right.
Because when I was living female bodied, that's what we call it, female bodied, my life was a little bit less stressful. But job wise, my income is better because I end up getting a little bit of what they call male privilege. But as a man of color, I lose a lot of privilege because we are stereotyped, ostracized by society as well. So to be living as a man of color, it's more stressful for me now than it was when I was female body living as a woman of color. But for me, every day I get up, I have to shave. You know, men, we smell most of the time. We got to make sure we don't smell. It's a process as well. We have to be cautious of how we approach women. As a man of color, I have to be cautious of the arena or the venue I'm in so that I don't offend any female or any person.
But wouldn't you know exactly how to come? I'm thinking you have a big advantage because you would understand how to come at a woman. You would, like, as a man, you would know, like, you know, how to talk to a woman at a point in time. You would understand that because no matter what, you still have that, you went through that, you have that emotion, right? So I think that is easier for you.
Because I had to live my life partially as female for many years up until I was 16, and still had to sometimes navigate my life because I was not fully transitioned as female. So I learned to respect women as a man because I know how men push up on women. I know I have a lot of respect for women. To this day, I admire and I date women, but I have a hard time. Flirting with women because I lived as a straight heterosexual woman for so long. I don't know what it's like to really talk to a woman or flirt with her because I think it's offensive. So it's hard for me to do. That's just me. Right. That's just my personal issue.
Right. Well, listen, I noticed that I mean, first of all, you look very masculine. Someone just wrote in the chat room there that their daughter just asked them, was that really a female? Because you look very masculine. I mean, it is hard to even think that you were ever a woman. So tell us the process. How did you get all the beard? How did you get all of the stuff? Now you completely 100% masculine looking.
Well, before I made the choice, I sought out therapy to make sure that I wasn't, me personally, I was not losing my brain. I thought I had problems. I was so sexually involved with so many people, I thought it was a sexual thing. So I went to therapy. And as I went to therapy, I was diagnosed with having, at that time in the years back, it was gender disorder. So they identified me as, okay, you may need to want to transition. And I said, well, that's a great idea. So as I began with the idea to transition, I felt more comfortable with myself. And then I was, after receiving a letter from my therapist stating to my doctor that it would be best for me to go ahead and begin my process of living my life wholeheartedly as the man I desire, I became involved with HRT, which is hormone therapy. So I started taking testosterone, and that's where the facial hair, the muscles, and all that come from, and it starts evolving. Remember I told you I was petite. So being small, my muscles grew around my leg. I mean, if I show you my leg now, you'd be like, oh my God, it's a big leg. I didn't have no fat on my leg. I didn't have no muscle. So, I mean, that's the process. And in time, we end up having top surgery. And then after that, we decide to have SRS, and that's a selective, depending on the individual. That's the bottom surgery.
Right.
And just remember, those that are listening, it's easier to make a hole than make a pole.
we go.
You guys figure that question out that you're asking. Every surgery costs money. Every surgery is expensive. For me to have top surgery, to find a insurance company that will cover that, to have the copay, it's a trying process. It's a very much where the trans women, they have the cup, they have the inserts. We have the removal of breast and tissue.
Right.
And it takes forever to heal with top surgery.
So
I mean, it took me 8 weeks until I could raise my arms.
Okay, so let's talk about bottom surgery. As much as details as you could give us, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but at least it would give people some information. What is the process of bottom surgery?
There's two types of bottom surgery. I have not had neither. Only I've had. I have not yet had my hysterectomy either. There's two types of bottom surgery, and that's something that you may want to talk to someone who's had that bottom surgery. I don't know it as well. I just have an idea of how it works. You have one that's the enlargement of the clitoral, and then you have the penile surgery, which is the making of the penis. And this is very complicated. They're both time-consuming, very much a lot of reconstruction, a lot of changing. And I will say this to many of the listeners today, that for me, not to have bottom surgery does not make me no less than the man I am today, because by face value, all of you just looked at me and said, that could have never been a woman.
True, true.
So by face value, when you meet someone like myself on the street, or any man on the street, I know you don't ask that man, how are you doing? Did you have your bottom surgery? Or do you have a penis? You don't ask those questions.
Yeah. But I guess I'm still falling back from that. It's easier to make a hole than a pole. Anyway, let's move on. So you're saying that you literally could still get pregnant if so be it, right?
If I desire to, but I'm 56 years old, Junior. I don't think that's going to be possible at all.
Did you ever desire having kids?
No, because for me, when I miscarried my first child in my 20s, I felt relieved because I felt it wasn't appropriate at the time to bring children into my life with so many mental and physical changes that I was going through. I needed to make sure I was okay with me, because you know, whatever's going on in a mother's, whatever's going on in the womb, inside the womb, can affect a baby, and I did not want to affect any child with my own personal confusion.
Right. So what about adopting, or whether, you know, that motherly attachment or that fatherly attachment? Do you think that you would want to, if adoption was the option?
If I find the right mate that wants to have children with me in our life, and my final mate decides that we want to have children, we might adopt the whole orphanage. I don't know. I would love to adopt children. I love to adopt children. I love children. Don't get me wrong. I work with children all the time. But at this present time, the only child I have is my dog.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And how is sex life as a trans man?
For me, comes up. For me, thumbs up. It depends on the trans man. Like I said earlier, I'm pansexual. So for me, it's very spiritual, because the person, if I'm intimate with somebody, it's got to be we've got to click up here and have to be clicked spiritually, and it can be very, very exciting. It can be very amusing. And just be great. It just, for me, it's different than most other trans men. Everyone's different. All our journeys are different, and each one of us live our lives differently. But our transition is about the same. The steps to transition are the same.
Yeah, and you're saying, so pansexual really meaning, in your context, that you basically attracted to both male and female. You could have a sexual experience with a man, or you could have a sexual experience with a woman.
Well, no, not just a man or woman. I can have a sexual experience with a heterosexual man, a gay man, a lesbian stud, or a trans woman, or, you know, a hermaphrodite or even someone who's intersex or trans. So that's pansexual.
So you could have sex with anybody. You could basically have sex with anybody. You feel attraction no matter how, where, when, how high, tall, big, whatever.
Right, but a lot of it's spiritual attraction. It's where we're internally attracted to each other here and here. It's not about the genitals. Sometimes it is, but not always.
Who is easier to love? What because you're pan. I think that's the first time I had a pansexual, as you identified, on the show. So here comes a lot of questions. Who is easier to love?
Everybody. Depends on the person.
Yeah, but everyone comes with their every sex comes with their different type of emotion and how they deal with things and all of that stuff. Because you had an experience with everybody, you should have a preference.
I don't have a preference. Right now I'm interested in trans women because I've had interactions with trans women. So I'm now at a point in my life where I'm interested in dating trans women more than I did in the past life. In my past, you can imagine I'm old. But for me, right now, I'm interested in trans women, but I date gay men as well. But right now, my joy is not with cisgendered or genetically born females right now. And that's just my preference right now.
Right. So you just for argument's sake, you're sitting at a bar, and a female came over to you, and she rapping with you really nicely, like your beard, like the goatee looking real hot, and all of that stuff, right? Kicking it to you really nice. At what point do you say, listen, I'm a pansexual, I'm a trans man? When does that conversation start?
I wouldn't tell anybody I just met that. It would be somebody that I know. We got to talking and got to clicking, and she really likes me, and I'm really feeling her, and we're in a neutral level where we have a lot of understanding, respect for each other. That's where I would go into that, and knowing that I would be intimate with that person, that's where I would go into doing that.
Yeah, but don't you think at some point in time, if a female, yeah, I have to, when I ask the question, I have to look at you again, because I have to remember that you're a female as a man. So, you know, pardon me.
No, I'm a man.
A man, sorry.
My legal documentation says man.
Right.
I am not a female.
Okay, sorry about that. See, I have to keep reminding myself.
Right.
Sorry about that, right? So, if you meet somebody at a bar and they see you as a man, a female, she see you as a man, and
I am a man.
Yes, exactly. You're a man. I'm not denying that fact, right? But if they fall in love with you, and well, you see, I'm gonna get in real problems for asking that question, right?
Because Junior, here's the thing: I don't do one night stands.
Right.
I don't do one night stands, so I'm not gonna pop it off and put myself in jeopardy, and then 2 weeks later this woman outs me and my business is in the street. I don't do that. Now, if she knows who I am and is in the circles that I am about, then maybe we could talk, because there's no need for me to expose to her that I'm a trans man. She already knows that. But if it's a complete stranger and I'm in a bar, I'm not going to expose myself to a complete stranger. I don't know who she's connected to, the people she interacts with. Shoot, I could be getting set up to get beat up. I don't know. Being a man of color, by face value, I'm a man of color. She doesn't know me being trans. It could be somebody coming in who's racist, because I'm attracted to all genders, all races. It could be a white woman or somebody who doesn't like black men and is setting me up to get beat up when I go out the door. So I have to be cautious at all times. I'm not going to place myself on a meat cliff to be chopped up.
Yeah. Understood. So what is the point? You said that you wouldn't at what point do you have that discussion, have that conversation? If
you and I had a conversation to be friends with benefits and the benefit was sexual, we would discuss that. But if we're not going to have any sexual interaction, there's no time for, there's no in the beginning to say that. It depends on the individual and how much trust you have with this person. I believe that if I'm going to be intimate with a trans woman or anybody in the LGBT community, that I'm going to let them know. But most people in our community know who I am. They know. So it's not a question.
Right. What about meeting place? Do you hang out in mostly gay bars or straight bars, or where do you meet people? Where are the ideal spots?
I don't really go frequentize gay bars because, you know, some gay men I'm not interested. I just don't. No, I don't do gay bars. Sometimes it depends on the venue. It depends on. I meet women at an event, a concert, and have a conversation with them. It depends, but most of the time I meet individuals on social media because it allows me to know who they are and in the comfort of their home and my home, and have interaction and know if we vibe or not.
Yeah, folks, we're speaking here. We're speaking here with Flex. Flex is also a promoter. Tell us about the other things that you get involved in, Flex, your promotional ideas and your promotional gigs that you do as well.
I'm also an advocate for the LGBT community. That means I do a lot of advocacy work. I'm also a executive director of a nonprofit organization called Fifth Avenue Alliance. It's an organization for the LGBT transgender community, assisting with harm reduction. I'm also a motivational speaker. I work with children and youth. I work with youth and people of color. What else you need to know? As a promoter, I promote events. I do flyers, videos. I do a lot of everything. My hands are full. And being an author as well, that's what I do. I'm an entertainer as well. So I do a little bit of everything.
Right, right. And someone was just asking in the chat room here, a female, she was asking, is it difficult being a man? Hello?
Is it difficult being a man?
Somebody in the chat room just, X-Flex, is it difficult being a man?
I don't have a problem being a man. I get up and I do man things. I don't have, Junior, do you have a hard time being a man?
No, I actually, that's it. I have no options. I have no options. I get up every day. I, do man things. I see nice, sexy women. I'll be like, yo, she has a fat ass. Right?
Right. We do man things.
Yeah. But but it's always a but to it, because you understand the other side of it. I don't.
Well, that's when I sit down with men, genetically born cisgendered men, and explain to them how to handle their woman, because sometimes they don't get it. I have friends that come to me and say, Flex, I need help because I don't get it. So I have to help them out a little bit, give them some knowledge. You
is the perfect person to ask this next question, Flex. Because there is a book that says two things that a woman wants, right? And it's about 1,000 pages. Two things that a woman wants. So you're the perfect and most ideal person to ask that question. What does a woman want?
Communication.
Uh-huh.
Eyes that don't cry. Ears that hear.
Uh-huh.
And lips that don't lie.
That's what a woman wants.
She doesn't want to be lied to. She wants honesty. She wants I keep saying the word all day. I've been saying it. She wants consistency.
Uh-huh.
And reliability.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If you can give that to a woman and treat her as the woman she desires to be treated, you have no problem.
Right. So here's a flip side to that question, Flex. Because, again, you is the perfect, most ideal person to ask this question. What does a man want?
This man wants consistency. devotion, respect, honor, loyalty, and I like to have some sex. That's all I gotta say.
So, so where does it? What is the similarities between, or the major similarities, or the major difference from what a woman wants and what a man needs?
Well, because of testosterone, I'm just going to break it down.
Yeah.
Men need sex. They're going to need the sex. I didn't have a high sex drive until I started testosterone, my HRT. And women don't need that. They need other things to feed their emotional side. Men, I understand why men do what they do. I'm taking testosterone, and I'm telling you, I really do understand.
Who cheat more, men or women? Does testosterone plays a role in men going out there and meeting other women and having one night stand and doing that kind of stuff? Is that testosterone? Because I mean, there's a lot of guys just watching right now that just gonna blame it on the testosterone. So give them an excuse, please.
No, it is the testosterone. It is look. Come on, Junior. Let's be real. It's the testosterone. You know, and I know. Can I say this?
Say it.
If a man gets aroused,
yes,
and he gets, those blue balls, it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's an uncomfortable feeling. He has to release.
Yes.
So if he's aroused, no man wants to walk around. Come on, that hurts, man. I get those problems too. I'm just gonna tell you.
You get blue balls all the time, I guess.
Because you have to remember that when you were born. When you were conceived in your mother's womb, you were of your mother. As you evolve with your chromosomes and your DNA, you start evolving like your father. So what happens, we come from our mothers. So what a woman has that's a clitoris, okay, you end up having a penis. Your penis is just a larger clitoris. So with me taking testosterone, my clitoris has grown. So now it's acting like a penis. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm piss proud and I'm aroused.
Oh. Okay. Again. Flex, you is the perfect person to ask this question. You know, I've always wondered these things, Flex. I've always thought about these things, right? Here is the next one. Who enjoy sex more, a man or a woman?
It depends on the individual.
I'm listening.
It depends on the individual. If she's a freak in the bed and she likes to do what she do, that's her. If he's just lazy and lays on his back or just does missionary, that's him. It depends on the individual. I'll just say this to the listeners that are being nosy.
Yeah.
I am a gymnast coach. If you come to my gymnasium and you are not a gymnast and you don't have no skills in being flexible, you can't be on my team.
Oh, so that helps in for the man, or it helps for the woman?
For me, it helps me. If you're not skilled in the bedroom and like to have fun, we will never have sex. I'm adventurous.
Right.
I was adventurous. I was female body. I'm adventurous as a person that I am. So anybody that's with me better learn how to swim, stroke, fly, come off the parallel bars and do all that stuff. They better know how to do splits and twirl in the air, whatever they got to do.
Who's doing that though? I can't even touch my toe.
Anybody that's in the bedroom with me, they better have some skill.
Let me take some viewers' question, please. Let me take some viewers' question. Viewers, listen, your opportunity to chat live here with Flex. Pose your question, and we'll ask Flex. Yeah, Flex, for sure, you are an entertainer. I mean, I like your vibe. You know what I mean? You don't seem like anything gets you depressed, anything gets you stressed. You're living your life, you're doing the damn thing. You know what I mean? And there's people right now that has everything in their life, and they're so stressed and fed up, and they hate themselves. You know what I mean? But I could see that you're enjoying life and you're doing what, as you say, what God put you on the earth here to do, to be, right? You're a man. Take some viewers' question right now. Guys, post your question. Also attempt, let me see if I could do this, if I could take a quick call on the line. Flex, you feel like you want to take a call? You take a call from viewers?
Yeah, let's talk to somebody. I love the world.
All right. So we're going to open up the phone lines right now and give folks an opportunity to chat with Flex live on air. The number that you call if you want to chat with Flex is 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. And Flex, as I said, is going to answer your question. You know, he's not shy to answer the damn question. Flex is here. Flex is here.
I'm an old man. I can do that. If I was young, I may not do it.
So the number that you call here is 718-701-5720. Again, the number is 718-701-5720. Chatting live here with Flex. Flex, what is the most difficult things that you have to deal with being trans anything? What are the most difficult parts of that?
Well, I'm very transparent, and sometimes having to deal with outing myself to individuals can be very hard for me. Even dealing with finding medical assistance, that was always a hard thing, and I've been working with the medical industry within my state, trying to get us the right assistance that we need for our care. One big thing was getting medical care and finding doctors that would be able to work with me and assist with my care.
Okay, Flex, we have a call on the line. Caller, you live?
Hi, I'd like to ask the gentleman a question.
Are you hearing? Hold on a second, caller. Flex, are you hearing the caller?
I hear the caller.
Okay, caller, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Marissa. I'm actually driving home from work. I just want to know, so now the person that's transgender so I'm confused. So this is a male transgender, so you were born as female?
Yes, I was genetically born female. I transitioned to male. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you now, how would that work? Like, so let's just say, okay, you met a straight man, and you were to have sex. Like, how would the role playing be?
It depends on the individual.
So would you be more interested in dating a female or a male?
Well, like I stated earlier, I'm pansexual. So I date all genders, but I don't look at the genitalia or the gender. I look at the spirit of an individual.
Right. Okay, caller, we got to take
now, let me ask, do you feel...
Okay, go ahead, caller. Last question.
I want to just know, do you feel that you're like artificially forcing your inner body to be like a sex that you were not born as or assigned as at birth? Is it like a struggle?
I'm not forcing it. The struggle is realizing who I am to becoming who I need to be.
Right. All right, caller. Thanks for calling. Where are you calling us from? Okay, the caller hang up. Guys, we're taking another call here. We're talking with Flex. The number that you call is 718-701-5720. Try to be brief with your questions because we want to take at least 3 calls and we're running low on time. The number you call again is 718-701-5720. Chat with Flex. We got a call coming in 407. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
Hi, Junior. I'm calling from Florida.
Florida. Okay, Florida. Pose your question to Flex. Turn on the background. The background TV or whatever you're watching us on. Turn it down.
Yes, it's off. I do apologize.
No problem. Pose your question.
Okay, I want to know, Flex, because right now you look like a man looking at you on screen. However, if a woman should approach you, would you let her know up front that you were born a woman, or do you wait until you get in the bedroom and she finds out?
Like I stated earlier, when I get to know that female, immediately I don't expose myself. If she does not know my story, like I said, most of the people I interact with are familiar with who I am. But if she's not aware of me being transgender, if we hit it off right and we find interest and we want to date more and get to know each other more and have something more concrete, then I will let her know. But if it's just the first day meeting, I would not do that.
Right, and he said earlier, caller, that he doesn't do one night stand. So I guess you will have to be some kind of affection, and then you get to that part later on. All right, caller, thank you for calling. We got another caller coming in. Flex, a lot of people want to talk to you, boy. Caller, you live. Where you calling us from?
Hello?
Yeah, caller, you live. Where you calling us from?
I'm calling from Canada.
Hey, Canada. Okay, what's the question?
Hey, Canada. Okay.
Oh, Lord. Canada. Oh, Lord. I don't know what was happening there. Canada, turn up the volume on me, Flex. Guys, when you call, make sure you turn down your background audio, please. A lot of mercy. I think I damaged some muscles in my ear. Whatever is in there, ligament, whatever is in there, damage. Turn your audio down so we can hear you. The number that you call is 718-701-5720. We got another call coming in. Caller, you live. Where you calling us from?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, guys. It's Sharon.
Sharon.
Hi, Flash. It's Sharon.
Okay, turn your volume down.
Yeah, turn your background volume down, Sharon. Go ahead. Pose your question, Sharon.
Hi, Flex. This is Sharon. I just want to say, Flex, I really, really am moved on how brave you are to tell everybody your truth and just have a smile on all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you,
it. Where you calling us from, caller? Okay. All right, guys, we're taking two more calls. The number that you call is 718-701-5720. Speak directly here with Flex. Flex is a trans man, as he identifies himself as pansexual. And he's chatting here with us. If you want to talk with him live, the phone number you call is 718-701-5720. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from? Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, hi. I got a question. I'm a little confused. I've got a quick question.
Uh-huh.
Is it the same thing if I was to transition into a woman as Flex did his transition? Like, is there something that has to be biologically in a different format, or can anybody do it?
To the caller, a lot of times it is something that we have to medically be diagnosed with being transgendered and having a gender dysphoria.
Okay. So you have to be diagnosed. You have to be diagnosed by a medical practitioner, a doctor, a psychologist,
and a therapist.
And a therapist.
Okay. But is it biological or is it more mental?
For me, it was biological. It was more biological because I was intersex as well. That's a whole different subject.
Right. Okay. All right, caller. Thank you so much. Caller, where you calling us from?
All right. Thank you.
Where you calling us from? All right. Flex, you have no problem showing off your chest, right?
I have no problem. I can show you some children pictures too. I got family pictures.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
I think to prove to people that I was born female.
Yes.
I don't know if you could see that picture.
Oh, yes. Let me put it up. Oh, that's you?
That was me as a child.
Flex, she's gorgeous.
That was me as a child. I got another picture. I gotta do this though. Can you see that?
Go down a little bit. Down. Yes. Oh, that's you?
Yeah, that was me.
Wow. Pretty hot chick.
So, believe I was sexy and still sexy. I believe I'm still sexy.
Well, Flex, you know, you know, you got me all confused because, you know, I'm trying to. That's you again.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was her name? What was your name? Your your born name, I should say.
I don't discuss my dead name because I no longer am legally that name.
Okay, no problem. I understand.
That's something we don't do as transgender people. We don't discuss what we call our dead name. We are, the one thing that's hard for us is when, I will say this, one thing that is very devastating for us is having family and friends still misgendering us. And also misgendering is when you might keep calling me she instead of he.
Yeah.
And using my dead name, which is not my legal name.
Okay, so we call you Flex.
Right.
No problem. That's fine. Flex, okay, you know what I wanted to see? I saw it in the picture on your Facebook, your chest, because you look like you are a strong body flexing man. So this is your chest. So Flex, this is a PG show. I don't do nothing more, right? Nothing more. So the cut. Tell us about the cut that's under your chest right there. What surgery was done?
The procedure that they do for top surgery. There's 3 surgeries. There's a new one. I don't know the name of it, but the one that I had is what they call a T. And what they do is they cut underneath the breast and cut like a T right where the nipples are, and they move the nipples up. So it's called a T. It's a T called the T. And then the other one is called insertion, where if you have less tissue, they go in and they basically do liposuction and some changing around, and they don't do as much cutting into the chest area. I just happen to have more chest tissue and all, so they had to go in and cut out and take out, and it's a process. It's a process.
Flex, you did it, boy. you slam dunk it. I think that, I mean, you the first pansexual person we had on the show. We had bisexual, we had lesbian, we had transgender female,
right?
But now is my first meeting a pansexual who basically don't see any particular sex as a different sex. You like would have sex with every sex, man, woman, bisexual, white, black, it doesn't matter, and all that in a circle. That's Flex. You are a motivational speaker as well, Flex. When you speak to people, what are some of the things that you tell them?
Well, I try to empower people to stay positive and look forward. And being Buddhist, I will say, I look at the world differently than the average individual may look. I see things differently. I see things in the eye of knowing that each day is a life experience that allow you to grow to be who you are and enhance who you are as a person. So being a motivational speaker, I try to encourage people to go forward. We all have hardships, we all have hard times, but you can always get through it. I've been through so much that I know we can all survive as long as we stay positive and stay focused.
Yeah. And one other thing that I want to add to some of these things is to live your life. A lot of people they would look at someone who decide to, like, I saw a video where they basically was running after a gay person, somehow trying to fight with him or whatever the case might be, because he chose to live his life as a gay person. And I just always think that however someone decide to live their personal life, that's on them. They're not doing it with your sex organs. They're doing whatever they want to do on their own time in their own privacy of their own home. Leave people to do whatever they want to do. You know, it's not your decision to reflect your life on anybody else. And I think the world is slowly becoming to understand that everybody has their preference. My preference may not be your preference. My preference is to be a heterosexual male. I love women. I love everything about a woman. I love everything about a woman, right? And that might not be someone else's preference, but that doesn't mean that my preference have to be your preference, right?
Right.
And I think more understanding has to be have to be felt from that perspective. Leave people, if they want to live that way, that's on them. They're not, you know what I mean? They're living their life. And you reflect that in the way how you deliver, the way how you choose to live your life. If you choose to live as a man and you're comfortable living as a man, live your life. It's your life at the end of the day. So
you're right. You're right, because I have to deal with me every day. And in order to be comfortable, I have to be comfortable with me.
Exactly. So I thank you so much, Flex, for coming on, even sharing your story here with us. And you know, we're always open whenever you want to come back on. Anything you have coming up, any information you want to convey to our audience, you're always welcome back here on the ride. What about the people who want to communicate with you? Because there are people right now that's watching the program that are a bit confused with their own life, and they want a kind of support group, like a support. How could they get in touch with you to get that kind of level of support from you about what they should do with their own self? How could they reach you?
All you have to do is Google me, because my mother can Google Flex. She can find me, so can you.
Right.
Go to Google, press FLEXJONEZ. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, which we do have a realistic reality talk show that happens every night on live Facebook, so feel free to come through with that. But remember, just Google Flex Jones and you'll find me. I promise you, if you communicate with me, I will communicate back with you.
Absolutely. And again, we appreciate you, Flex, and we'll absolutely, definitely keep in touch with you. All right?
All right, Junior. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. We'll talk.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, folks, that was Flex Jones. I want to read some of the comments. I didn't get a chance to see all the comments, but I could assume, based on past experiences, the comments was very judgmental. Let's go with the comments. How you guys doing? Give me a call. Let me also know what you think. Call me up. The phone number 718-701-5720. Let me know what you think about Flex. Let me know what you think about people who decide to live their life a little bit different than what society project on the world. Like, you should be this way or you should be that way, and people that defy the norm, like Flex. So call me up right now. I'll take two calls. 718-701-5720. 718-701-5720. Call us. I want to know. Aruna, big up yourself. All good, yes? Poor God on. Call me up. I'm taking two calls. 718-701-5720. Let me know what all you think. About Flex. What all you think about people who decide to live their life a little bit different than society project. All right, now what's in the comments? Knowledgeable. Thank you, Maria Peters. Thank you so much. Jesse Tiger. Thank you so much. I'm taking a call right here. Let me take that call. Let me take this call. Caller, you live?
Hello.
Yes. So.
Good evening, Junior.
Good evening.
I think people who are able to decide that this is how I want to live, they're very brave, and they're living their best life. Some of us need to take an example from their books and live our best life, and stop being so judgmental and rigid. Remember that when Jesus walked the earth, he didn't come to deal with the Pharisees and the people in the synagogues. He came to save the people who didn't know about him.
Right.
That's what we need to do. Stop judging and being so nasty with our comments about people who choose to live their lives how they want to live. You don't have to stand up in front of God with nobody. Everybody has to stand in God for their own selves, and that's what we need to understand.
All right. Thank you, caller. Appreciate you. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
I'll talk to you later.
Yes. Yeah. So let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Alex, say thank you, caller. Let me know. 718-701-5720. Talking about flex. And again, if you missed the whole show, I want you to go back when it finished and watch it all over again. All right? Go back when it finished and watch it all over again. And Aruna is also saying, yeah, you answer for your own sin. Diamond G says she's absolutely right. Maria said, right now I'm transgender. Coco De Silva, say it again, caller, for people in the back. The voice of the people. Take the call right here. Take the call right here. Take the caller right here. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
New Jersey. How are you?
I'm great, caller. So what do you think? What's your take on this whole thing here?
All right, well, this is my thought. I mean, I love everyone. I think the world is eclectic. We have a lot of different types of people. But this is my thing with the transgender.
Yes.
And I'm not saying everyone is like it, but it seems to me that, and it's only from my experience, I'm a straight male, but it sounds like anybody can put hormones into their body,
right?
The opposite hormones,
right?
And become anybody they want. Like if I wanted to become a woman,
right?
I could get the surgery. I could put myself with female hormones.
Yeah.
I could do the transgression. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. What I'm saying is that it seems like it's a choice rather than people, being born a woman or a man, but somewhere across the line things got crossed and messed up. And I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That's my opinion. I'm not saying it's bad.
Right.
I'm just saying I don't buy it because a lot of these trans people are telling me, or I've learned that they have to get their hormones, they have to get, this and they have to get that, but they kind of be needing the same thing. If I wanted to become a woman because I wanted to, I could.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's biological. There's so many. It's a gray area, and I think they're confused.
Well, I think what it is, caller. I think what it is. I think what it is that a child was born. Think about it like this: if you were born as a child, and in your mind, right, all the way through life, you're not attracted to the opposite sex.
Absolutely.
Right? You're not attracted to the opposite sex. But society is telling you that you should be attracted to the opposite sex. But when you lay in bed with a female, you get nothing. You feel absolutely nothing. It doesn't do nothing for you. You try it again, it does nothing for you.
But aren't you gay if that's the case?
Well, right. So in your mental state, in your mind is telling you that you are not physically or emotionally attracted to a female. But at the same token, say tomorrow you walk down the street and you see a female or a man pass you by, and you find like the same kind of feeling you're supposed to get for a woman, you get for a man. Right?
Okay.
In your mind is telling you that is what you like. So you are like trapped inside the body. You feel like your brain is inside of a cell. Like, why am I not attracted to a female? That is what's happening to a lot of the transgender and gay people that you see. Their minds and their body is not the same thing.
Sex and be attracted to the same sex and not have to switch genders?
Yeah, but that's because when they look at themselves, they're not seeing what they're not reflecting on what their mind is telling them. So they have a choice. They don't see themselves as a female. They would never lay with another with another man. They think that is gross. They as a woman, they think laying with a man might be gross.
Okay.
And they don't want that.
So
they don't want that in their head.
More comfortable changing.
Exactly. So in that case, if that is, I mean, the medical provide that, they could go ahead and change if so be it.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about this country, that the world is full of different people. And again, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I just try to understand, to go through all that trouble.
Yeah.
Just to be maybe you're right. Maybe somebody is grossed out that they like the same sex and they can't deal with the fact that they're gay, so they want to become, the opposite sex to make it. And I'm with you. The world's a cruel place, but to go through all that work, and all that trouble because of society.
Well, it's not because of society. It's because of their mind. It's because of themselves. They're doing it because of themselves. So they're going against what society is saying. They're going against the flow.
Yes, you're right. But because they're thinking like that, because maybe of what they were taught, or what they've learned, what society says yes or no. I mean, maybe not. But if somebody tells you it's okay to like the same sex, maybe they wouldn't be grossed out by it. That's my point.
Right, I understand. And I am not here to try to convince anyone to be gay. I'm not here to convince anyone to try this or inject yourself with female or male hormones. That is not the perception. That is not the program. That is not what we're trying to accomplish here. I just wanted to say that. But caller, thank you. We have one last call on the line, and then we're going to wrap up.
Thank you, caller.
No problem. Bye-bye. Yeah. All right, caller, you're the last caller. How are you doing?
This is Flex. I'm your last caller. How are you doing? To all the callers that just called in, especially that young man, I want people to understand something before you close out.
Right.
Gender and sexuality are two different things.
Right.
So you were right on point about talking being trapped, because my gender had nothing to do with my sexuality.
Right. Right.
Okay, and I want people to understand that there are two different things. Just because I'm a trans man and I may have sexual activity with men,
right,
has nothing to do with my sexuality.